All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike and I'm with my co host, Dr. Crystal Gossert. Did you know that the air inside your home is actually more toxic than the outside air? I mean, that's just mine. And by the way, not just by a little bit, by a whole bunch. And on this week's live, we're going to go ahead and discuss simple ways to reduce your indoor air toxicity. And hey, just breathe better overall. So, Dr. Crystal, I think this is a very important show for people. So much of our time is spent on detoxifying. How about preventing the toxins from getting in the first place? What do you think?
Seems like a good idea to me, Dr. Mike.
I do too. So tell us, like last week, you want to give us a little recap? Because we've been talking about detox for a while now, right?
Right. Yes.
Um,
Yes. Well, 2 weeks ago, we gave you the detox 101, phase one, phase two, phase three detox, why you need to address all three phases. And then the second week, we talked about detoxing your food, getting rid of the plastics,
yeah.
foods that you should absolutely buy organic, fish with the least amount of mercury. So you should definitely head over to watch that live. That was a really good live, all about what we're bringing in through the diet, cooking
Yeah.
processes, and all of that.
Yeah, and you can go see those on the Life Extension Facebook page. It's all there. You may have to scroll down a little bit, but you can find those live
Mhm.
videos. So today we're going to talk about your indoor air quality. We're going to be talking about carpet cleaning product, candles. We're going to talk about tips on buying air filters, and then also we have a clean air checklist for you that you can just mark off. Doot, 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 doot. And that's gonna, and if you can, the more you can mark off, the cleaner the air, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day. So let's go ahead. Let's start off with some stats. Give us the real run. So I started off by saying indoor air is worse than outdoor air. How true is that, and by how much?
Yes. Well, indoor air is about 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air, but some research shows up to 100 times more polluted.
Wait,
And
wait, wait. Say, wait. 100 times. My house right here could be 100 times worse than going outside.
probably not anymore. Maybe when that house was first built.
Okay. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Potentially.
yeah.
But yes, there are times where the air quality indoors, maybe in the winter, we'll get into some of that if you're burning a furnace or fireplace every day. But
Okay.
what surprises me about this fact is that the indoor air is the air that we have control over
Yeah.
for the
And
most part.
yeah, and that's a good thing. That means we can mitigate some of this stuff because we do spend about 90% of our time inside. So
Especially the older individuals who can't get out as much. Maybe you have disabilities. So the
right,
majority
good
of
point.
your time is spent indoors.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be a great show. Hang in there with us. We got a lot of good information and tips for you. Let's first talk about clean air offender number one. Again, think about this as prevention. So here's a big offender. This is offender number one, and we're going to talk about it in ways to mitigate it. So go ahead, Dr. Crystal. What is
Yeah.
offender number one?
So we call them a combustion appliances. And basically that means appliances that burn fuel, gas. So that's your gas range. And some people's entire homes run off of gas. The
Yes, yeah.
washing machine, it's the ovens, the furnaces, the water heaters, the dryers, and they emit toxins. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just benzene, methane. You don't even carbon monoxide. Most people are familiar with carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
I know that has received a lot of attention, but even formaldehyde is
Oh gosh,
released,
that's just
right?
bad stuff. That's bad. That's bad stuff. So the carbon monoxide, yeah, people know that, and that's a quick killer. Some of these other ones may not kill you quickly, but down the line, these are mostly carcinogens, right?
They are. And this is really hitting the headlines. Some of you, I'm sure you've seen it all over the headlines within like the past month or so. A 2022, January 2022 study showed that your gas ranges are even they're emitting toxins
Yeah.
when they're turned off, not even when
Yeah,
you're using them.
I don't understand that. You showed me that paper. I read it. It's a good paper, solid research. So yes, it's a true statement. I don't get it though. How, like, what are they? Do we need to tighten up connections? I mean, I don't know what. How is that happen? I guess natural gas is just so volatile. It's
That is
just so
very
easily gets out there, right?
Very true, but you made a good point. Tighten up, some valves or something like that. Most people think about it. If you have a gas range, when was the last time you've had it inspected? When was the last time you've had a tune up? We take our cars to get tuned
Right.
up, but no one tunes up their appliances.
Good
They
point.
unless they're broken down,
Yeah.
they've broken down. So
Yeah.
that is one strategy is just to make sure your appliances, especially the gas, is properly maintained to make sure nothing's leaking, from that appliance.
Yeah, so vent your gas fireplaces. Turn on your fan in your kitchen when you're cooking. Open a kitchen window, that can be helpful, and ensure, as you just said, that all these appliances are installed correctly and they're maintained. That would be a huge step forward to a cleaner indoor air. So let's go on to clean air offender number two, and this is I don't know if people know this. This is carpet. Now, you people think carpet's on the floor. How is that in my area? Right? So explain how this is a air offender.
Well, they release neurotoxins. And a part of that is just the glues that's used to make the carpet. In one study, they tested over 400 carpet samples, and neurotoxins were present in over 90% of those samples.
Ooh,
So that's part one. Part two is all of the things that carpets trap: dust mites, pollen, pet dander. Hopefully you don't have a cockroach problem, but the cockroach allergens. It's just
oh boy.
even when you walk outside, and let's say you just sprayed the lawn, maybe some pesticides or insecticides, something on your lawn, and then you walk inside of your house with your shoes on.
Oh, you're
Now
bringing
you
that in.
have that
Yeah.
residual getting trapped in the carpet. So even if you vacuum, you may not be able to vacuum some of
Yeah,
that out. So
that's
it's
a good
different
point.
than like hard or floors where you're always mopping and you're kind of getting rid of some of just the residual funk
Yeah,
that
I
you're
mean,
bringing in.
yeah, it makes sense, right? So the hardwood floors, I can see that the stuff stays on top. It's easier to wipe that off. Carpet, at the end of the day, is just a really good trap. Those fibers hold on to just everything.
Yes.
So obviously, number one, if we look at solutions, remove your carpet if it's possible. Go with hard floors, whether wood, tile, whatever. But if you're going to keep your carpet, don't. I think you suggest we should vacuum 3 times a week.
3 times a week,
That's a lot.
and make sure you're
It's a lot.
hey, that's the price you have to pay for carpet. That's just how it is. And I get it, but you have to make sure you're staying on top of it. Vacuum 3 times a week. Make sure your vacuum cleaner has the HEPA filter. Change the
Good
filter
point.
regularly on your vacuum. But also steam clean your carpet annually
Yeah. Very
every
good point.
year.
Very good point. Yeah, I think that's a great because that steam cleaning is probably the number one way to really pick that stuff up. By the way, hint: if you have a vacuum that does have a bag, I actually think the bagless ones are better, anyways, because they have a filter and you don't. But whatever, there's still bags out there. If you turn on your vacuum cleaner and you smell dust and stuff, it's
Mhm.
probably time to change your filter in your bag, right? I mean, I've done that before. You turn it on, it's like, what is that smell? And you keep vacuuming. You're just putting it right back into the air, right?
So true. Now, another tip for the people, if you're like me, I like carpet. It's an ongoing
Okay.
battle in the
Yeah.
home. but it's just in the kids' room, in the bedrooms. So when you're purchasing carpet, a tip is to, number one, ask the retailer for an emissions report. All of the carpets have those, and try to find one that has the least amount of emissions. But second, before you purchase it, have the retailer roll out the carpet and just let it kind of air
Yeah,
out in
great
the
advice.
store
Yeah, great
before
advice.
you bring it into your home.
Yeah,
So, that's another strategy,
yeah,
in the middle strategy. If you don't
yeah.
want to get
Well,
rid of the carpet,
and,
this is
and
kind of an
there's
in between
there's a
place.
lot of different types of carpet quality, and so that's where maybe when you first buy it, some carpet that's a higher quality might have less emissions, but that's great. But at the end of the day, though, carpet's carpet. It's still going to soak in a lot of that stuff, whether it's the fancy stuff or the cheap stuff. At the end of the day, carpet's carpet.
Very true.
Right. All right. So let's go on and talk about clean air offender number three. And this is our cleaning products. I mean, I can go, my kitchen is right. Wait, am I pointing the right way? Is right over there. I can go in there under the sink. You can open it up, and there's probably 10 bottles of different cleaners.
I know. And we have a graphic for this, and it's highlighting some of those toxic cleaning products. And the worst ones are the aerosol sprays,
Yeah.
because now you're just spraying those toxins. They're just going everywhere, being carried in the air. But beauty as well as cleaning products, air fresheners, what
Be
they
careful
are
with this.
releasing,
Yeah.
especially the ones that plug into the wall, just don't do it. They're actually um, adding toxins to your air.
Yeah. And it's
There's
and it's constant because they're plugged in. So it's not like you're spraying ones and then that can dissipate. Those plug-in ones, they're always on,
That's right.
right? So it's a
Yes.
constant emission, right? And be careful
Yes.
with those. Yeah.
Yeah, and so some of them have toxins such as benzene, and a lot of this information, everyone, this is not, these aren't insiders information. This is coming directly from the EPA. They're saying just, don't use them. They are causing toxins to be emitted in your air.
Right. Yeah. So that's simple solutions. There are cleaners now that claim to not use those volatile compounds, right? You can do, instead of the classic window cleaners, there's ones you can do with vinegar. Right.
Yes. And don't
Excuse me. So
discount
there are alternatives, right?
Right, and don't discount the power of just soap and water. A good soap. What about baking soda is great for scrubbing. And if you really want to know, okay, which ones to purchase, the EPA has a database. If you go to epa.gov/safer choice, epa.gov/safer choice, there is a table that will give you what to purchase, the brands that you should purchase that are a little bit safer. Don't forget to wear your gloves and masks. We have lots of masks around.
I'm sure you do. I mean, it's a good step. I think that's a tough one for people like gloves and masks, but it would help. Again, this is about preventing. We spend all this money on detox. I mean, there's some expensive detox programs out there, right?
Right.
Versus how about we clean up our air, we clean up our environment. I mean, that's going to make a big difference. So yeah,
Well,
gloves,
and
masks,
you
even goggles.
right. And so obviously if you have allergies or you suffer from respiratory issues, it's a no-brainer. This is something that you have to do. Wear your mask, wear your
Yeah,
gloves.
for sure.
If
Yeah.
if you are one of those individuals who just kind of react easily to things in the environment.
Clean air offender number four. If we remember when we were researching this and talking about it, this one surprised me. Remember that?
Yes, furniture.
Tell us about furniture and decorations.
Oh, especially the but the compressed wood. Ah, when I started reading about it, Dr. Mike, I even started going down rabbit holes looking at videos about how the compressed wood is made. This is where you're getting the wood chips, wood
Yeah,
particles,
let me.
sawdust.
Yeah, before you go, let's make sure, because remember, you had to explain what that meant, right, to me. So let's make sure the audience understand. So you have solid wood. We're not talking about the solid wood furniture, right? we're talking about wood that's basically chips put into like a paste and then stuck together.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that paste is really that glue that's holding everything together, and that's also bonding that top surface that makes that wood either look like wood or look like granite. Whatever thin sheet is on top is glued
Amazing.
on as well.
Yeah.
And these are off-gassing formaldehyde into your home. There, it's one of the worst offenders.
Yeah.
And so yes, it's the also your wall coverings,
Oh, good point.
anything that has permanent press. So your curtains
Yeah.
that are the
Oh,
permanent press, because you don't want your curtains to be wrinkles. All of those products are off gassing toxins.
yeah. I guess talking about window coverings, you could make the argument that it's best to do wood blinds and stuff like solid wood
Solid wood
blinds.
blinds if
I
you can.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember, and maybe I'm dating myself with all this, but I remember, in elementary school, middle school, high school, sitting at these student desks that had wood, but it was fake wood, and half the time we would pill it, we would chew
Please don't
on the
tell me.
wood,
No.
we'd spit it out. Oh yeah, and you're telling me all this, I'm like, oh, maybe that's my problem. Maybe it comes
That's why
back.
you couldn't pay attention in
I
class.
I used to eat my student desk. Maybe that's where it went wrong.
Potentially, but yeah, if you are looking for an upholstered piece of furniture versus, you know, something that is leather, go with the leather, because yes, it's those fabrics and that compressed wood that is causing the problem.
But I think you told me something really great because I think it saves money and it makes sense. How about buy used furniture then? Maybe not something that's broken down or something, but lightly used furniture.
Lightly
Wouldn't
used
that help?
furniture.
Yeah,
Yes, that is the way. And if you get home and it's the smells, because we it's the smell that we typically like, Dr. Mike. That
it's weird.
new
It's a
furniture
weird.
smell.
Isn't it weird that things that could kill us we like the smell of? Like people
I
love
know.
gasoline, right? I mean, it's weird stuff.
Weird stuff, but you can take that furniture back. I have a friend, a doctor friend, who returned his furniture 3 times because it was too much, and he noticed his allergies were acting up whenever he came home with the furniture, and he took it right on
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
So
that makes sense. The other thing that you mentioned I thought was interesting: keep your house cooler, maybe because in a warmer, especially down here in South Florida, humid. That humidity gets inside. For those of you that don't live in South Florida, you feel it, right? You feel it inside your home. That's a great environment for toxins to be released, right?
yes, and so yes, if you need to invest in a dehumidifier, consider that. If you just have a lot of moisture in your home, because now we could do a whole talk on mold, but mold is something else
Right.
that can pollute the air, especially if your home is too humid. But yes, the humidity causes the off gassing from your furniture. Consider again a solid piece of wood
That's
furniture. It
probably
will
the best way to
last
go.
forever
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's
It's worth the
probably
investment.
I mean, the solid wood furniture, the kitchen table, the dining room, or the coffee table, it may be a little bit more money up front, but those kind of pieces stay in your family for generations.
Yes.
So
And you can
it makes more sense. It's safer, they look better, and they last forever. Although it costs a little bit more up front. So you gotta weigh that. All right,
mhm.
great stuff there. Let's move now into. I think we have a image number 3. This is our Dr. Crystal's and my clean air checklist. You want to run through this, Dr. Crystal?
Yeah, so this is just our little summary of what you should do or try to incorporate. Check off as many of these as possible. One, open your windows for at least 30 minutes per day. That's easy. My windows
Yeah.
are open right now. I
Yeah.
usually do it in the morning or in the evening where it's cooler. Always use the exhaust fan when cooking, even when you're baking. I
Yeah.
always forget to do that. and my husband reminds me. So that's important. Clean your air filters on a schedule.
Yeah, very good. Yep.
And these are the filters in your home.
Yeah.
Look for a filter with a MERV rating of 13 or higher. So that's kind of the rating that would identify the size of the particles that your air filter can trap.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that so not all, like for your indoor air AC unit, for instance, those air not all air filters are created equal.
Right.
There are some that are much better at trapping pollen and dust and toxins. So go with that better MERV rating for sure.
Yeah, 13 or higher. Most will be around 7. So you want to look for the 13 or higher. Invest in air purifiers for your bedrooms. Very important. Vacuum filter, we mentioned it. Make sure
Yeah,
you
correct. Yeah.
remember to change those. And when we look at kind of dust and dust mites and things like that, that can get into the air, anything that you can wash, you should wash. So that the kids' stuffed toys, the stuffed animals, the curtains. Take those curtains down and give them a
Oh,
wash. That's I want everyone who's watching, let
oh,
that be on your to-do list. Spring is here, and so we can add this to our spring cleaning checklist.
boy, oh boy. How about shower with the door open?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
that's going
deep
to help.
clean.
That's going to help with the heat and humidity. House plants. Listen, house plants are great. Now, listen, I know there are some studies that say they don't make much difference. Other studies say they make a huge. What? There's somewhere in the middle. They probably do provide some help. Maybe not as much as some people claim, but more than others. Other people say they don't. So house plants. I think number one, they just make your house look nice,
Right.
and they can help clean the air. Now, I don't know if this is true, Dr. Crystal, but I heard if you're going to bring houseplants in, palms are really good. Things that have leaves that are broad and open. Not like ficus trees are popular, but they're probably not as clean as say a nice fern that opens or a palm that opens.
Makes sense to me. You're getting just kind of more surface area
Yeah,
cover.
it does too. I know I don't have any. I don't. I just read that. I have no proof, but it makes sense to me. I like them anyway, so I have a lot of palms in my house. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Don't make your bed right away. I know that sounds weird, right? Keep your bed
Yes.
open. Let that stuff dissipate a little bit, and then you make your bed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then check your house for things: lead, radon, all these common known carcinogens. Once in a while, just to make sure that your house is free of those, right?
Yes, and invest in the smoke detectors now are they have a dual capacity. They have the ones that can detect smoke and that can detect some gases. So
Yeah, very good.
consider a dual detector.
Fantastic show today, Dr. Crystal. Thanks for joining me. You can learn more at lifeextension.com/toxic exposure. There is a really nice, that's going to lead you to a nice page on some lab testing, right? That you
Yeah.
can do just to kind of measure where you're at in your toxic exposure. That's lifeextension.com/toxic exposure. And it's at a really nice price right now, right, Dr. Crystal?
Yes.
Yeah, you get a special discount. And a matter of fact, all the labs that we offer are on discount right now. So /toxic exposure. Dr. Crystal, thank you. I'm Dr. Mike. I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, we go live every Wednesday. So tune us in, join us for all the good information. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.